My name is Naoko, and I'll be talking about stress, what it is, and what it does to our bodies and minds, and what we can do to help manage it. This is a topic that's really kind of near and dear to my heart, and especially really for all the things that have happened in the past year. I feel like it's a really important conversation. What did Karen say? We all could use a little mental quiet, right? So just a little bit more about myself and Flux Life. Myself and my business partner Lily, we started Flux Life last year, so we're a pretty relatively new company. We really did it to help our community achieve healthy outcomes through education and ongoing support. I was sharing with Karen earlier that Lily and I had met at the Ikahi Ornish program. And for those of you that are not familiar, it's a 9-week intensive program to reverse heart disease. And so it's basically lifestyle modification. There's no medications used whatsoever, but people had to change, their nutrition, learn about fitness, group support, and stress management, which is basically yoga. There's so many wonderful outcomes that came out of it. We've had people, lower their cholesterol, blood pressure, lose weight, their A1Cs came down. But most importantly of all was just people's whole mood just changed. They just were lighter and happier. And so, watching about 2,000 Hawaii residents go through it and seeing all these, wonderful changes is so inspiring. And so, when the program closed because of COVID, we were pretty devastated. And so we said, why can't we just keep this going? Why can't we, do it within our own means? And so, that's why we started the company. I myself personally have been practicing yoga for about 14 years. And when I started practicing, I knew that there was something really special about that practice because of the way it made me feel. I couldn't really understand it, but at the time I had, two very young children, and I was also helping to run a business, and we had some financial stress, just as you will with having a business. And so, I didn't realize it at the time, but I had depression. I would sleep a lot, but that going to yoga really gave me more energy and just giving me ways to cope with, feelings of being overwhelmed. When I started teaching that stress management for the Ornish program, I was able to really kind of comprehend and share that science behind the positive effects of yoga on the body and mind. And it's really my pleasure to share with you today some of the things that had the privilege of teaching different participants throughout the years. So medical research estimates that about 80% of all diseases are stress related. And I believe that number is actually higher now. That was actually a 2014 report from the CDC. Um, Stress has exploded to an invisible 1 trillion health epidemic. So that's more expensive than the cost of cancer, smoking, diabetes, heart disease combined. Stress is a factor in 5 of the 6 leading causes of death. So, heart disease, cancer, stroke, lower respiratory disease, and accidents. And the UN calls stress the 21st century health epidemic. Not to keep this all doom and gloom, but it's going to get positive. Don't worry. Just want you to understand the importance of our mind, right? So, what is stress? It's really the body's reaction to any changes with physical, mental, and emotional responses. So, you can experience stress from your environment, your body, and even your own thoughts. So, these are called stressors. Stressors are situations that are experienced as a perceived threat to one's well being or position in life, especially if the challenge of dealing with it exceeds a person's perceived available resources. So, stressors can actually be good or bad. So, wondering if you guys want to share in the chat box, I hope I can see it, or just share out loud what you might think is a good stressor, because I think we all know what bad stressors are, right? I think COVID, work deadlines, relationship stress. What would you consider like a good stressor? Does anybody have any feedback?
Like a life change, like getting married or having a baby, something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's so true, Karen. So My experience with a good stressor recently, well, it was last year. It seemed like it was yesterday. My daughter graduated from high school, back when we can all still be together celebrating. But the sign, everybody needs to make sure that that sign is everybody can see it. And then I had to go and get the lights for it. It was such a celebratory time, but I felt that stress inside of my body. So again, getting married, having a baby, buying a house, all really wonderful experiences that you can celebrate, but definitely it can cause stress, right? So, just a quick poll, and maybe Karen's the only person that will answer. Okay. True or false? Is stress bad for you? I'm going to put the
True and false.
oh,
Both.
true and false. Okay. Thank you, Sean. Anybody else? Dun, 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 dun. No, just kidding. I'll just go ahead. It's actually false. We actually need stress for survival. Stress is a really normal part of life. It's part of the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system. It functions kind of like a gas pedal in a car. So it triggers the fight or flight response. So it provides the body with a burst of energy so that it can respond to perceived dangers. And it really works well in actual situations of danger, such as, the classic prehistoric example of a wild animal chasing you. I don't remember the last time a wild animal chased anybody, but, or maybe modern day, a car swerving into your lane, right? The body is really good at handling that episode of acute stress. We're really designed to recover really quickly from this short term stress. But that's really how mental health experts define resilience, how quickly you recover from an acute episode of stress. So basically, your blood pressure goes up, the heart rate goes up, breathing rate is higher, the muscles get tighter, and that tension kind of skyrockets for a short while. But the body, however, really isn't very good at handling chronic stress. Over time, the chronic stress increases your heart rate, blood pressure, breathing rate, cortisol levels, and muscle tension. So now that the body has to work even harder when it's at rest to keep you functioning normally. So these are just physiological effects of stress. So our bodies and minds don't really know the difference between a perceived threat and an actual threat. So if we perceive something as stressful, our brains release the same hormones into the bloodstream. So these hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, norepinephrine, changes our behavior, mental experience, and physical functioning. So if the threat is imagined, such as thinking about a potential encounter or situation that'll upset us, the same hormones flow through our bloodstream. So over time, these hormones really use critical energy and causes detriment to our body, leading to psychological and physical problems. When your cortisol levels are out of whack, it can really derail most of your body's important functions. Cortisol is responsible for managing how your body uses carbohydrates, fats, and protein. So basically, your digestion. Cortisol helps to keep that inflammation down. So regulates your blood pressure and sugar. It helps to control your sleep and wake cycle and boosts energy so you can handle stress and restore balance. So when it's not in balance, we crave fatty, sugary foods, kind of like comfort foods. Yeah. So our thoughts, on how we see the world really plays a key role in our perception of stress. So we were, going through the program and talking about, some people who are, like I have really bad willpower, or, I'm so weak, I can't say no to cookies, right? It's sometimes when you're stressed, it's actually your body that's craving it. You know, I guess you can use that excuse for a while, right? But then it might become problematic over time. I have a quick story that Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches about, and it's kind of interesting because it's a comparison between animals and humans, right? The difference of how we deal with stress. So if you just imagine a gazelle, drinking water at a nearby river, and all of a sudden it senses danger, right? There's a lion that wants to come and get it, right? It feels that. So then it goes through the same thing like we do. The autonomic nervous system, sympathetic nervous system rises up, their heart rate goes up, right? Their pupils dilate and their muscles tense up so that they can run away from the situation, right? They're not going to really fight the lion, right? The difference between, so then once the, say the gazelle gets away from the lion and then makes it safely back to its pack, and then the heart rate begins to come back, right? Body is always trying to move towards homeostasis, back to balance. The difference between the gazelle and humans is that, you know 2 weeks later, the gazelle's not going to go and tell their gazelle friends, oh my god, I'm still so stressed out over what happened 2 weeks ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? We have a tendency to kind of hold on to some of that stress, or it turns into kind of like this trauma within us. And again, if we come back to that, if we relive that, we send that same stress hormone throughout our body. So again, it turns into that chronic stress. So mental hygiene. So one's overall psychological well-being and what you do to keep your mind healthy. So talking about the thoughts, right? Does anybody want to take a stab at how many thoughts we have per hour in 1 hour's time? You guys are numbers people. Just throw out some numbers.
Million.
Ooh, a million. Anybody else? I think I can see the chat. As I see five more. Oh, there's the chat. Oh, I got it. Okay. 100,000, 500,000. So, oopsie, let me just move that chat box to the side. So we have about 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Maybe you guys have more. That's a lot of thoughts, a million. um, so it averages out to about 2,500 to 3,300 thoughts per hour, which I think is kind of a lot, like in 1 hour's time, right? Definitely not more than a million, but I'm not, yeah, but that's still a lot of thoughts, right? So out of those thoughts, 80%, about 80% are negative, and then 95% of them are repetitive. So it's like basically the same thought, right? Over and over and over again. So that's kind of moving into our subconscious mind. And our actual conscious mind can only hold maybe about 30 thoughts at a time. So it's kind of no wonder, we have that challenge of finding this, relaxation or insight or inspiration and creativity because our minds are so full, right? If unmanaged, all of these thoughts of the past and future really clouds our minds. It kind of puts a veil on our perception. And I have a little story to tell about from Thich Nhat Hanh, about a woman who would, wake up every morning and have this lovely breakfast with her husband. They would sit at the table, look out their window, and, from the window, they could see their neighbor's yard, right? And so the woman would say, honey, I love our neighbor, Judy. She's so lovely. But I wish somebody would teach her how to wash clothes, because every time she washes the clothes and hangs it up, it's dirty, like, why does she even bother washing it, right? So then the husband, he doesn't really care, right? He just looks up and he's like, oh, whatever. And so every morning, same conversation. She'd be like, oh, I wonder if I should go over there and just give her some of my detergent. Maybe she's just not using a very good detergent, right? So it goes on and on. And one morning she wakes up and she goes downstairs and she's just like, wow, honey, look, it's her clothes are clean, Judy. Maybe she figured it out. It's sparkling. Her whites are white, colors are vibrant. It's like a Tide commercial. So then the husband just looks up and he looks at her and he's like, well, I just washed the windows. So, again, right, it's our perception a lot of times that it could be clouded, right? Judy's clothes were always lovely and clean. It was just the window that was dirty. So we take time for our daily personal hygiene, right? Hopefully we all clean our bodies, brush our teeth. What are we doing to really clear our minds, right? Especially in the field that you guys are in, accounting, it's a lot of thinking, right? And analyzing. And so sometimes it can really be hard to shut the mind off, and it can sometimes affect our sleep if it's, if you have a lot of things on your mind. So sleep is very vital, right? Often neglected, and you know it is a component of personal overall health and well-being. It's important because it enables the body to repair and be fit and ready for another day. So getting adequate rest may also help prevent excess weight gain, heart disease, and increased illness. So, got some good news. Yay, finally. Self care can help to change your perspective, right? The good news, if the mind can get you into trouble, the mind can help get you out. Self care really is, you need to have time to think your way through the stressors and to feel the emotions that really come with them. It also means paying attention to your emotions, giving care and attention. The specific activities that help with emotional processing will vary between individuals, but it could include meditating, journaling, drawing, talking to your friend about the stress, saying affirmations or prayers, dancing, petting a friendly animal, exercising, listening to music. Again, so many different things, right? And then you can also do different practices that trigger the parasympathetic nervous system. So opposite of the sympathetic fight or flight, it's the rest and digest state. So it really inhibits the body from overworking and restores the body to a calm and composed state. So when your body is relaxed, it really helps to decrease anxiety, helps to regulate vital body functions such as digesting, and a lot of our immune system is in our gut, right? So when you are in fight or flight, all of the energy goes out into your extremities, right? So you can fight or you can run. So all the energy moves out of your digestive area, mostly your gut. And so that's why your immune system gets compromised, because when the energy is there helping to strengthen it. Um, so even doing the parasympathetic nervous system, raising that helps to strengthen, helps to lift the mood, right? So make yourself feel a little more happy and relaxed. So where do I begin? A really good place to start is with a daily meditation practice. The beauty and simplicity of it is that you really don't need any equipment. You can do it anywhere. All that's required is maybe just a little bit of a quiet space and just a few minutes each day. You can start with 1 minute, right? Everybody has time for 1 minute, and then increase the time. Preferably, if you can, meditating at the same time, same place every day. Morning is nice because that way you get to set the tone for the day, and then creating this nice habit, it'll be just basically establishing it, just like brushing your teeth, right? We don't really even think about brushing our teeth. So within maybe a week or two of regular practice, you could see a noticeable change in your mood and stress levels, and people will start to feel some inner peace, insight, and clarity, even in the midst of their really busy lives. So a researcher at Harvard reported that after 8 weeks of a daily meditation practice, they noticed that it helped to increase the brain's gray matter. And what does gray matter responsible for? It's in the prefrontal cortex of our brains, and it includes regions in the brain involved in muscle control, sensory perception, such as seeing, hearing, memory, emotion, speech, decision making, and self control. So, really, a great area to expand and grow, I think. So once you begin to feel these positive changes in the states of your mind, you'll begin to feel it throughout the day. So there's other recommended practice. I know that you guys have, or you guys were, and I'm not sure if you're doing it currently, but you had a yoga instructor come in weekly. Short practice of stretching, right? Yoga asana. It can really help with flexibility, protect the mobility and independence, keeping the muscles flexible, strong, and healthy, um, helping with that range of motion in the joints. And without it, the muscles begin to shorten and become tight. And then when you call the muscles for activity, they're kind of weak and unable to extend all the way. So that kind of puts you at risk for joint pain, strains, and muscle damage. So, for example, sitting in a chair all day kind of results in tight hamstrings in the back of the thighs, and that can make it harder for you to extend your leg or straighten the knee all the way, which kind of inhibits walking. So regular stretching keeps muscles long, lean, and flexible. And basically, you just feel much better as well. So there's also a breathing practice that you can do. We talked about the breath, right? To calm yourself. So checking in with your breath here and there for a midday break will help you to kind of change the states of your mind and your body. So we're actually going to be doing a little short practice so you guys can kind of experience what that feels like as well. So all of these practices really help you to gain insight into yourself, helping you to gain perspective on the perception to the outside world. Again, we were kind of talking earlier, right, about the expectations of 2021, right? We thought that everything was going to just magically change, but again, right, the external world might not meet our expectations of what we want. So sometimes the things that we don't have control over um, can be stressful. So practicing and really helping with the internal acceptance of what's going on really helps our managing of our stress. So when one can change from within, their world changes, and the environment is simply one's mirror reflection. So we are introducing a 14-day challenge for meditation. If you guys are up to it. And this is the little tracker that I'll go ahead and provide. Again, I think it's very doable. And if you already have a meditation practice going on, you can definitely do more than a minute. But we did this challenge with another company, and we kind of increased a minute every day, and they felt that it was very overwhelming. So you guys can actually change it to whatever you want to. I just did it this way because I think it's achievable, and nobody wants to set forth a challenge that they're going to fail at. So again, this is what I'm presenting, just extending a minute after 3 days. And then if you want to, you can, get a little journal and kind of write down your experiences. I mean, you don't have to write the full page. You can just like write a sentence or two. Sometimes it's nice to see, where you start off, like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I can't shut my mind off. And then maybe if you look back at it, you might notice that, towards the end, you might be like, okay, I think I'm getting this, it seems to be helping. So it's nice to see that progress. Again, optional. We are meeting again in 2 weeks for a sharing session, to see what everybody had experienced for this short practice. And then we're going to go on with our practice unless anybody has any questions at all. And you guys can put it in the chat. I can put it in my chat. Go. Oh, there it is. You guys have any questions? Good? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen. And then we'll go ahead and move into a practice. So I'm thinking everybody's sitting in a chair, so we can do a chair practice if that works. I'll go ahead and spotlight myself. Yep. And then maybe for this one, I'll just go ahead and mute everybody for now. All right. If you guys need to unmute and say something, please feel free to. So we're going to start off in our nice tall grounded seat. So I'm just going to push myself back so you guys can see me a little bit better. Can you guys still hear me okay? All right. So starting off with our nice tall grounded seat for any of these practices that we do. So you want to make sure that your feet are touching the ground. And then you're feeling your sitting bones nice and heavy in the chair. So you might have to come off the back of your chair, just depending on how long your legs are. I have very short legs, so my feet won't touch the ground if my back is to the chair. And then allow yourself to sit just a little in front of your tailbone. So there's a big tendency for us to sit on our tailbone. So let me just turn to the side so you guys can see. And then this happens to me too over time while I'm working. There's a tendency to do this a little bit, right? We're kind of sitting on our tailbone. Pelvis is lifted up, and the shoulders are slumping a little bit, and then we're typing away like this or using the mouth, right? So if you kind of think about sitting in front of the tailbone a little bit, then it kind of pushes your pelvic floor, tilts it downward. And then if you think about just an awareness of the abdomen here, it'll help to bring the chest up a bit. And so it helps to relax the shoulders and move everything upward. So our heads are about 8 to 10 pounds, depending on how big your brains are. And so it's heavy. So a lot of times if we're sitting like this, it's there's a misalignment. So all of this weight is getting pulled down. And so then we have this neck and shoulder tension. So a lot of people are like, why do I have so much tension? And then our back gets sore too from all this alignment problems. So it might take some practice, and it might get tiring because the muscles around the spine might not be developed in the beginning to sit straight. But over time, once you start to create those muscles, it'll start to feel better. You'll start to feel a little bit more aligned and almost weightless here. So kind of like thinking about that chin too, instead of jutting it forward, just think about bringing that chin down a little bit. And that's a lot to think about, but just food for thought. I want you guys to come away with at least some things here, right? So sitting in front of the tailbone, feet on the ground, sitting bones connected to that chair. And then if it feels okay for you, close your eyes or maybe gaze at the floor below. And then just begin to take a few deep breaths in and out through the nose. So really start to bring your awareness to that breath at the base of your nostrils. And once you bring awareness to your breath with your eyes closed or gazing at the floor, it really helps you to bring yourself inward. In other words, releasing external situations or experiences. And just allowing the breath to come to normal. And then bringing awareness to however it is you're feeling at this moment, emotionally, physically, mentally. Just noticing. And allowing yourself to imagine sending your breath to any areas of tension that you might notice. Just imagine your breath moving in and around and through that area. And then allow yourself to maybe imagine being at the beach, maybe your favorite beach. And then you're simply watching the waves and listening to the waves. Allow yourself to link your breath to the waves as the waves come in and as the waves go out. And allowing yourself to just find peace and acceptance for however it is you're feeling today, even if it's just for this very brief moment. Slowly and gently begin to deepen your breath, allowing your awareness to return. And if you'd like, you can either keep your eyes closed or you can open them as we move through a few gentle stretches. I can guide you through with my voice, or you can watch. So again, with that nice tall grounded seat, start to feel the crown of your head lifting up towards the ceiling. Allow your chest to open and your shoulders to expand, your shoulders to relax. As you inhale, feel the elongation of the spine. And as you exhale, let's just slowly bring the right ear over to the right shoulder. And just let that head drop gently. Let gravity take it without forcing it, and just breathe. Notice the stretch on the left side of your neck and shoulder. And then slowly, very, very slowly, let's start to bring the chin down towards the chest and just breathe into any areas you might feel tension. So it's kind of slower than you might want to go with keeping the chest open still. And then very slowly, let's start to bring the left ear towards the left shoulder, tilting that left ear all the way over as you breathe. Again, not forcing, just letting the gravity pull that ear down. And then slowly again down to the center and then over to the right. So little half circles here as you breathe. Same all the way go to the left and to the right. Just breathe and move. And then slowly bring your chin down. And as you inhale, bring your head up. And as you exhale, relax. We're going to move into doing some shoulder rolls here. So we're going to lift the shoulders all the way up, back and down. So this is kind of a nice full range of motion. Really, as you inhale, lift up and then exhales you back. And then roll the shoulders out. So again, this is an area that we hold a lot of tension. So let's do the opposite direction. So it kind of goes hand in hand since our minds and bodies are so connected that when we feel physical tension, we actually feel mental tension as well. So helping to relieve the physical tension also helps to relax the mind. So you can shake that all out. And I'm sure you guys use a lot of computer. So we're just going to open and close the hands. So another reason too is like to send some lubrication to our joints, moving that synovial fluid around, keeping that joints nice and healthy. Keep moving it, breathe. So a lot of this is lifestyle changes for prevention of chronic diseases, which take about 10 to 15 years to develop, arthritis, shake it all out. And I know you guys probably use your eyes a lot staring at the screen. It's probably everybody is nowadays with Zoom. We're going to do a little exercise for the eyes. So extend your right hand out. This is, you'll have to open your eyes for this one. So the index finger points up and you're just going to stare at the fingernail. You can blink a couple times first. And then as you slowly start to bend the elbow, just stare at that finger and try not to blink. And then slowly bring it all the way over to the nose and then extend it all the way out. Keep the eyes open as much as you can. And as when your arms are extended, you can blink a couple times. Your eyes might be burning. You can blink sooner if you need to. And we're going to do it 2 more times. So helping to strengthen the eyes, the retina, extending it all the way out, blinking a couple times or maybe closing your eyes. Last time. Slowly bringing it in and all the way out. Don't worry, it won't get stuck like your mom says. And then we're going to rub the hands together and then just cover your eyes, close your eyes and just rest the eyes and breathe. You can slowly release the hands and gently begin to open the eyes. And we're going to do a little bit of stretching for our knees. So we're just going to lift the left knee up to our chest, hold it from underneath, and try to see if you can keep that chest open. And we're just going to make big circles here with our feet and our legs. So what you want to do is you want to move around this kneecap here. So again, lubricating all that kneecap area. Let's do the opposite direction. Keeping our knees nice and healthy. And then we'll go ahead and do the right knee up to the chest, making circles here. And opposite direction. I used to do this presentation in person and I forgot to mention to women not to wear a skirt during the presentation. All right, for that reason alone. And then we're going to do a hip stretch. This is another reason why you would want to wear pants. So we're going to bring our right ankle over to our left knee, the top of our left knee. And see here. If that is challenging for you, you're welcome to put your right ankle over at the left ankle or over at the shin. But if you can, let's bring it up. And then this might be a lot for you already, right? So if you're kind of sitting in front of that tailbone, chest, pressing your chest forward, you might already feel that this is a good stretch for you. Try to see if you can kind of gently open it and breathe. And then if it feels okay, extend as you inhale, extend the spine, and then slowly bring your chest forward, not your head down, but keep your head up and then keep pressing that chest forward and breathe here, flexing that right foot. And just breathe into that area that's saying, ah. So again, I always say when we're teaching yoga, Discomfort is okay, right? You can breathe through some discomfort. You can really make a lot of progress through discomfort. If you feel any sharp shooting pain, then you really need to back off. That's your body saying, yeah, not right now. So breathe into it. And then slowly let's come back. Let's release that leg. You can shake it out a bit. Go ahead and bring that left ankle up to the right knee. Again, flexing that left foot, elongating that spine, and then see if maybe that's enough for you. Perfect. Sit in front of the tailbone, press that chest forward, and then slowly, if it's okay, bring the chest down. And again, one side might feel tighter than the other. Just breathe through, see where you go. And sometimes daily your body can change just according to maybe how much sleep you've had or what you've eaten or where you're at emotionally. So just being kind to yourself as well. Sometimes I think we're very hard on ourselves. And then slowly, as you come back, let's release that leg. You can shake it out. And then you're just going to go ahead and extend your feet. Just open and close the toes. I'll save you guys from staring at my feet. So just open the toes, just like you did with your hands. And then we're going to point and flex. So when you're pointing, point all the way down. So you're feeling that stretch. And then flex it all the way up. So stretching out the calves here. And then let's make big circles with the feet and the ankles in one direction. We need that mobility of our ankles. Helps us to balance and walk. Let's do the opposite direction. And shake it all out. And then we'll do the cat and cow stretch seated on the chair. So I'm just going to move to the side so you guys can see me. So again, sitting in front of that tailbone, planting the feet down, opening up that chest. We're just going to put our hands on our laps here. And as you inhale, let's open up that chest and then look up towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders and just think about pressing the chest forward. So there's a little bit of an arch in the back. So again, since we spend most of our time either working, driving, everything's kind of bending forward, looking at our phones. We just want to extend it in the opposite direction as you breathe. So helping to create that space. Elongating that spine, breathing. And then we're going to do cat, so we can stretch our back a little bit. So purposefully rounding that back. Chin is coming towards the pelvis. And just breathe here into our thoracic spine. Giving it a good stretch. This is a lovely stretch to do daily if you can. All of these stretches are actually good. Of course, I'm going to say that since I'm a yoga instructor. So let's just move back and forth as you breathe. And then a little bit of stretch for the side body. So I'm going to come back, turn around so you guys can see. So we're going to again plant the feet, make sure that you're nice and grounded. We're going to bring the right hand down to our chair. Inhale, lift the left arm up, and then slowly start to sway over to the right. So think about bringing your right shoulder forward a little bit so that your chest is nice and square. And then what you want to do is you want to plant that left hip down and then reach up with the left arm and then sway all the way over to the right as far as you can. You want to feel that stretch all the way across the left side of your body. Just breathe here. This is also really great for aiding in digestion. And then slowly, let's bring that hand down. Inhale, let's bring the right arm up and then lean over to the left. Make sure you plant that right hip down this time. Shoot up with the right arm and all the way over on the left. And feel that really nice stretch all the way down the right side of your body. Breathe. And then slowly come back, releasing that hand as you exhale. And we're going to move into a breathing practice. So we're just going to kind of slow things down a little bit. So allowing yourself to sit comfortably in the chair again with your crown of your head lifted. We're going to do a practice called three-part breathing. So one hand comes to the abdomen and the other comes over to the chest. So keep your chest open. And then here you can either gently close your eyes or gaze at the floor below. And as you begin to inhale, let's expand the abdomen, the ribs, and the chest. And then as you exhale, let's contract the chest, the ribs, and the abdomen. Allow yourself to squeeze all the stale air out of your lungs and allow yourself to just move on your own using your own breathing rhythm. As you inhale, you want to expand from the belly up to the chest. And as you exhale, you want to contract from the chest to the belly. And just feel that breath moving in your hands. This three-part breathing is wonderful for bringing anxiety levels down, bringing frustration down. Your heart rate immediately comes down. Blood pressure comes down. And just giving you an overall sense of peace and relaxation. And it's wonderful because you can do this anywhere. And you don't even have to use your hands on your body. You can just do the movement of the body, expanding and contracting. Continuing on with the breath for just a few more breaths here. Maybe you can even feel your heartbeat. Or you can feel it slowing down a bit. And as you exhale, allow your hands to release and just bring your breath back to normal. We're going to move into a short meditation practice. So you can stay with your eyes closed or gazing at the floor. Again, feeling the crown of your head lifting. Feel the tension melt away from your face, your shoulders, your body. And if you would like to, you can bring your awareness with your eyes gently closed to the space between your eyebrows, into the mind space or the third eye. Just bringing your awareness there, just helping you to have a focus. And maybe there's a word or a phrase that uplifts you. Or maybe you're more of an image person. So maybe having an image that is joyful to you and just using that as your focus. There's so many different types of meditation. We're just going to be doing the one pointed focus meditation. So finding, again, that focus point and allow yourself to just continue to favor that focus and breathe slow and rhythmic. And then inevitably, your mind will wander because it's very common. We all have this monkey mind that just jumps from thought to thought, again, as we said. So when that happens, when a thought enters, you can go ahead and just bring awareness to it. Try not to suppress it. I think a lot of people think meditation is about getting rid of your thoughts, and that's really a challenging thing to do. So what you want to do is just acknowledge and try not to analyze the thought. You just acknowledge it and let it go through you and come back to your focus. There might be different sensations such as sound that distract you. So just allow yourself to listen to that sound and come back to your focus. And see if you can just find patience and compassion for yourself in your practice. Try not to analyze it or think it's a good practice or you're bad at it. Just know that it's a practice. And just like anything else, with continued practice, you'll begin to see that space between thoughts or feel that space between the thoughts. You'll be able to enter into that quiet space more frequently so that you're able to respond to many situations instead of reacting. I'm just going to go ahead and move into some silence. So allow yourself to continue with your practice. Slowly and gently begin to deepen your breathing. Just beginning to bring your awareness back to the space. And if you'd like, you can think short silently to yourself of anything that you feel grateful for. So whatever you feel are blessings in your life, whether it's a person, an experience, or a thing, allow yourself to feel that appreciation inside of your body, especially in your heart. And then just give yourself a moment to thank yourself for all that you do. Thank your body for all the ways that it takes care of you and moves into balancing and healing. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you for letting me guide you in this practice.